What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It is Carter Scotland Allen here, and today we're taking a look at the 2021 film titled Last Night in Soho, written and directed by Edgar Wright, starring Thomasin Mckenzie. Let's not waste any more time and get right into this movie review. An aspiring fashion designer is mysteriously able to enter the 1960s, where she encounters a dazzling wannabe singer. However, the glamour is not all it appears to be, and the dreams of the past start to crack and splinter into something far darker. Okay, and before we get into it, just wanted to say we have the slightest spoilers with very few details, so be warned, but if you want to watch this before seeing the film, go ahead. I'm not going to get too into everything. Okay, so we are going to start with the directing for this film. Okay, so Edgar Wright nailed this film just like he did with his Simon Pegg Coronado trilogy, as well as he did with Baby Driver. This film is phenomenal, and the execution was fantastic. The use of camera movement with sound and character movement with sound is very much an Edgar Wright thing, and that's still very prominent and relevant in Last Night in Soho. The story was well crafted, and this is once again a film that proves that Edgar Wright can basically do anything. And now on to the cast and the characters. Everyone in this cast does a phenomenal job at, succeeding in their character roles and doing their parts for their story. Thomasin Mckenzie, she's fantastic as our lead role. Anya Taylor-Joy was also great, even though she really doesn't have too many lines. She's there kind of just to be more of a visual stand-in, but it works perfectly. And the cutting back and forth between the 60s and today with the different character, especially with the dance sequence, that was phenomenal. Sam Claflin was also a nice surprise, and it was just overall a really good cast. Everyone knew what they were supposed to do. Nobody went too over the top. Everybody played their part just the way that you would hope. Okay, and now on to the story. Okay, so I'll just say right out of the gate, I did not guess any of the twists or the reveals for this film, and I'm not going to reveal them here because they're really fun and clever, and they were very enjoyable while watching them. So if you haven't seen the film, go watch it and enjoy that experience with those twists, and hopefully you don't solve them before, because they are fun twists. The plot manages to be relevant and woke, so-called, but without feeling too pushed or over the top, and not too shoved into your face, which is a great thing. It truly manages to be pretty creepy and terrifying while only really having one killing sequence, and that all happens in a very short period. I want to say of maybe even like 1 or 2 minutes, where you see all of this gruesome bloodiness happen, and even then it's very subtle for traditional horror standards. And now on to the cinematography. So the cinematography was great. Is once again, gave me feels just like every other Edgar Wright film. It had the vibe of every other Edgar Wright film. He had all of the flash and the flair that Edgar Wright has, while still feeling very grounded and real, especially with this darker, more serious story that, this is easily the most dramatic, most dark story that Edgar Wright has ever told on the big screen. And now on to the score. So as for the score, I find it kind of funny because I recall them using the score and the sound in the film as a way of building tension, and I remember it doing that very well. However, I can't remember what those sounds were like. I can't remember what sounds were used, and that's a little bit disappointing coming from an Edgar Wright film. His use of sound is so prominent in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and just all of the cuts and the cuts with the music in the Coronado trilogy or Baby Driver. I was just missing a little bit of that. I was missing a little bit more of that flair with the score and with the rest of this film. I wasn't too disappointed. I was just hoping for the slightest bit more of stylization from Edgar Wright. And now on to the final thoughts for this film. Overall, this film was a really, really fun watch, and is probably somewhere within my top 50, top 100 horror films, and that sounds easy, but also not easy. I'm not a huge fan of a lot of horror, even though horror manages to be my favorite genre. There's just so many films in the horror genre that either fall flat or genuinely upset me, and I just don't like the film. Whereas this was a fun film through and through. It was creepy, and I do think it has a fair amount of rewatch value. And so for that, I imagine it being somewhere on my top horror films. So like I said, yeah, there aren't too many horror films that I love. And so when there's a film like this that has decent everything, it's got, good cinematography, good production, good cast, good story, and everything meshed well together, so you can't really complain. It's just like, it's a good film overall, and so I had a good time. I really had a fun time with this film. I will pick it up for sure when it goes on sale. I don't know if I will buy it, like right away, $20 on Blu-ray. I would not buy the Steelbook. If you are the biggest Edgar Wright fan, then obviously go out and buy this film. If you're just trying to complete your Edgar Wright collection, then you'll have to buy this film. If you're an Edgar Wright fan but you're not into horror, this might be that one film that you skip. Even though it's really not too scary, it is pretty creepy, and they did a good job at that. I was happy with that. If you could find this film at Redbox, I would definitely recommend it. That's where I got it from, so renting this movie for $1 was really, really worth it. If you can find this anywhere else to rent, I would also, I'd say go watch it. If you can find it on TV or whatever, somewhere free, definitely give it a watch, because it's a fun time. Or as Jeremy Jahns would say, this is a fun time, no alcohol required. That's pretty much it for Last Night in Soho. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. Yeah, this is a fun time. Don't know if I need to see it for a little long while, but it was a really fun watch. Had some cool visuals, and I can't complain. So let me know what you guys thought of Last Night in Soho in the comments below. Once again, I'm Carter Scotland Allen, and I will see you guys in the next movie review. Peace.